Welcome back to the Crochet Karate. So it's my friends at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host, Mikey. Today we're going to work on these headbands that I developed yesterday. And so yesterday I also developed these really ultra chunky headbands, but people said that they don't live in cold areas like I do and they want something with a lighter weight yarn. So I switched down to like a 4-ply medium weight level yarn, and I also redesigned it because I don't like to do things twice. And so I wanted to create a completely different design for that. What you're seeing here is Roll With It Melange by Red Heart, and people get really frantic and they get bent out of shape when I use yarn that is changing in color for tutorial purposes. So this is what I've used, and I'm going to be using Patons Lincoln Fog today. This is a nicer yarn in the sense of it's more higher end in the mass retail market, of course. And what this is that this is a wool and acrylic blend, which I don't mind, but also I designed this so it's like a 4-ply medium weight, so you can substitute it with your Red Heart Super Saver or yarns within that family. Also, I'm using a 4.5mm size G crochet hook in order to play. I did a little bit, the hook, it doesn't match the yarn, it's a little bit tighter because you don't want to see through this thing, right? So it, if you pull it apart, you can kind of see through it a little bit, but it really does have the texture. One thing that when you do texture in stuff like this is that the heat of your body creates like a halo around the object. And so then the heat stays within the stitch work itself. So if it's completely flat, you don't get the haloing effect. And so I love the texture because it keeps me interested. So I'm gonna give you a free pattern. If you want to go to the more information of this video, the video description, you can get a link to that. Also, I'm going to be giving you some tips that I think you're going to need, especially when you're transitioning from one thickness to the other here. You want to be very cautious of this, and I'm going to give you some cheating techniques for that as well. So without further ado, we're going to get into this headband, and we're going to get started right away. So the main tip I'm going to have for you is that in the transition, when you go from one thickness to the other, it gets really dicey whether you're getting the right stitches or not. I want you to pay attention to the stitch counts. I provided that for you. So even if you don't think you know where the stitch is going to go, just jam it in there in any way and get the stitch counts to match. Okay, so just concentrate on that. And because these are the hardest things about these stitch alongs, that people want an exact count and then they think they know where they're going with the stitch and they don't. And sometimes you got to fake it or make it. So that's what today is all about, faking or making it. Doesn't this color remind you of bacon and eggs? So this here, because of the transition of color, it keeps me interested. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with just a regular pattern up here. We're going to transition to be smaller, and then this whole section is the same pattern, just thinner, and then we get back out and then we go and finish, and then we just join it at the end. So without further ado, we're going to begin the pattern right now. So let's begin by the starting chain. Create a slip knot to begin, and we're going to chain a total of 18. So let's start, and we go 1, 2, 3, 16, 17, and 18. And you may feel that this is long, but this contracts a little bit, so just bear with me and trust me in the pattern. Let's begin row number 1. Row number 1, we're going to go second chain from the hook, so just count it back, so 1 and 2, turn it over and get the back hump of the chain, and just single crochet in the back hump of the chain going all the way back across your chain. So do that, and I'll meet you on the other side in just a moment. So I've got all the way across. Please verify that you only have 17 stitches. If something's wrong, this is where you're going to tell. Should be an odd number, that's the goal. We're going to turn our work and now begin row number 2. So let's turn our work. Now row number 2, what's going to happen is that this will be the right side for everything. So 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? The even numbers like that are all the right side of the work. So as we begin, you're going to notice that I'm going to ask you to only chain 1 instead of chaining 3 for double crochet, because I don't want that god-awful hole that's always in the side of one of those. So if you just chain 1 only and then double crochet into the same first stitch, you end up with an edge that's more closed in. And I want you just to double crochet yourself all the way across. You will have a total count of 17 double crochets. And remember that chain 1 that you started with does not count as a stitch. So please double crochet yourself for row number 2. I'm coming all the way across and I'm double crocheting all the way. Now, you're going to notice that when you go to turn this to do row number 3, the odd numbers like 3, 5, and 7 are always going to be a single crochet. But on the transitions of getting bigger to smaller, that's where the counts change slightly. So we're going to turn and work and begin number 3. So number 3, just chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet in each of the stitches going all the way across. I'll meet you on the other side, have your work already turned, and be ready for row number 4 in just a moment. Put me on pause now. As a word of caution, the first one, because we did that chain 1, always looks a little weird. So make sure that you get that final one in there. So don't end too early, and you should still have the same count. In this case, it was 17 is the stitch count. So just don't end yourself too early. Turn and work and begin number 4. Let's begin number 4. So we're going to start introducing the texture. You're going to chain 1, my same reason I shared with you before. You were going to put in a double crochet into the first stitch, and then you were going to do a double crochet front post around the second one here, straight on down. Just follow it on down. Remember, this is the chain 1, so don't think that's a stitch, because it's not. So just come on down and do a front post double crochet. So just go around the post. Now that counts as the stitch that it's sitting in front of, so you want to just ignore that one, and just, if you go to work the next one, it's the one right next to that. Okay, so it counts as the stitch that it's sitting in front of. So now you're going to jump on down again, and you're going to come to this one. So here you're just basically going every other post when you jump down, and then here on the top, that counts as the one it's sitting in front of, so you're going to come here and double crochet. And you're going to alternate between the 2 stitches all the way to the other side. So please do that and put me on pause now, and I'll see you in the end of this row. When you get to the end of number 4, you're coming into the second last one for coming on down for the double crochet front post, and then you'll double crochet in the last stitch. So you will notice on this row, whenever you do this row, is that the front post double crochet is directly in the second one and finishes in the second one before. But next time you do this, the front post double crochets are going to come in between. So there's going to be more stitches before you start that process, and then more stitches left at the end of the process, as far as like doing double crochet. Let's turn and work and do number 5. Number 5, chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way across. I'll meet you at the other side. Make sure that you are finished that and turn your work and get ready for row number 6 in just a moment. So let's start row number 6. This is going to be the end of a repeat. So the repeat in this section is rows number 3 through 6. So to finish number 6, you're just going to chain up 1, double crochet in the first. And we're not ready to do a double crochet front post around the one below because it's going to match. So the next one is going to be a double crochet. So just remember the first 2 are double crochets, then you can jump on down for the third one here, and it's in between these 2. And so that's when you're going to start just alternating between the 2. Remember that counts as the stitch that it's sitting in front of, so you're going to double crochet the next one over and continue to alternate between the 2 stitches. So it's really easy to tell through the texture where you're going straight on down. Just watch the stitches that you're putting on the top level of the double crochet. And I'm going to come on down. So the last 2 stitches in row number 6 has to be a double crochet. Okay, so you got the one sitting in front of it and then 2 left. So the last 2 have to be a double crochet. So you've got to remember that because the stitches have alternated from the last time that we were playing with that. And so these will all be in between. So let's turn and work and let's talk. So you're going to turn your work. I want you to repeat rows number 3 through 6 one more time. And then I need you to repeat rows number 3 and 4 one more time. In the video chapters that we have in the video description, you can just click on the time marker to take you back to row number 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the instructions are, please do row number 3, 4, 5, and 6 one more time, and then do rows number 3 and 4, and then that's where I'm going to pick you up next. So please do all of those 6 rows next, and I'll be right back. So a few minutes ago, I left you with the repeat of doing rows number 3 through 6 once, and then rows number 3 and 4, and I'm at the end of number 4. So you can see the texture work has started. It looks really quite good in this yarn, actually. So let's turn our work, and we're going to start then with row number 13 as our next one. And now we're going to start transitioning to ourselves to get shorter. So we're currently at 17 stitches, and our goal is to get ourselves to 11, but we're going to do it incrementally so that we have a nice slope on the one side. So the slope actually will be on this side coming down. So once we develop that, you're going to notice this, that one side will always collapse, and then it will narrow off, and then it will just get bigger on the same side to make accommodations for your ears. Let's begin row number 13. Let's begin row number 13. You're going to chain up 1. You're looking at the back of the project, so that's good. And you're just going to single crochet yourself all the way across, except for the very last 2 stitches. We want to put those stitches together as a 2 together single crochet. So when I get to the 2 last stitches here, I want to make them 2 together single crochet. So go in, pull through, go into the last one, pull through all 3. And that was a 2 together single crochet. Turn our work, we're back to the front side, and we're going to begin row number 14. So now that we've eliminated 1 stitch on this side, you can't quite see it yet, but you'll begin to notice it really quickly. So you're going to chain up 1, and we want to start off by just applying row number 14, a double crochet 2 together. So we're going to put the first 2 together, so wrap, and going into the first stitch, pull through 2 and hold, and then do the next one, just wrap and in, pull through 2 and hold, and then you want to pull through all 3 loops. Now that the 2 together is here, if you look straight on down, do you see how this is raised up? So that means that we cannot go down there. So this next stitch has to be a double crochet. So it's double crochet 2 together, the next one's a double crochet by itself, and then the next one here is going to be a front post double. The goal is just to make sure that we have 15 stitches going all the way across by the end of this row. And so once you get the first part established, everything else just follows in line, and it's just a matter of getting that first section done properly. Now, because of the texture work, the last 2 stitches will be a double crochet regular because the texture work is going to call for it, and you'll see that in a moment. So you're going to come on down, and then you have 2 stitches left on the main row, so those have to be 2 double crochets that are left. And I want you to verify before moving on that you have a total count of 15 stitches by counting the tops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and the 2 together is 15. Let's turn our work and begin the next row. So as you move to row number 15, you're going to notice the decrease is happening on this side, so that's something you'll know. This side will stay flat. Okay, so when you're wearing it, this will be the jaw line of your face, this will be the top of your head. So you're just going to chain up 1, and you're going to single crochet yourself all the way across, except for the very last 2. What do you think you're going to do? Yeah, that's right. It's a 2 together single crochet because we want to get ourselves to the count of 14 single crochets in this row. And the only way to do it is to eliminate the last 2 stitches by making them 1. So just look for it, and you can see that there's a double crochet here on its own, and then this single crochet 2 together. So just make sure that you put everything together as a single crochet 2 together, and then just count your stitches and make sure there's only 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Confirmed. Let's turn our work and do the next row. Row number 16, you're going to chain up 1, and you're going to put the first 2 together as a 2 together double crochet. And you're going to notice is that when you did that, you're right up over top of this one here. So the very next one has to be a double crochet front post down. So you're just immediately going to start with your texture and start alternating between the 2 as you go all the way across for this row. So this was a nice easy row to remember. Now this row here, you have 2 stitches left after this texture piece. So you have the second last one has to be a front post double. And then the last one is a double crochet on its own. And that will complete that row, and then you're going to turn your work and begin the next row. If you wanted to count that last row, it's 13 stitches. So here we go for number 17, is that you're going to chain up 1, and you will single crochet yourself across, except for the very final 2. You'll put those 2 together, and that will eliminate us down to 12 stitches by the end of this row. Okay, your final 2 are left. Put those together. If you want to verify there's only 12 stitches, that's a good idea. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Confirmed. Turn our work, and let's do the last row of the decrease. So let's do the last row of the decrease. You're just going to chain up 1, and you'll do a double crochet 2 together over the first 2. And look where you are. Once the 2 double crochets are together, you'll notice that the next stitch is above here, so we have to put in a double crochet in the next. And then we can start then the texture work going straight on down. And you can do that across. So we're going to come into here. There's still 2 stitches left, but we're out of texture work in order to apply it. So the very last 2 stitches will be 1 double crochet each. And we want to verify that we have only 11 stitches here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Let's turn our work and we're going to begin the next row. So let's do row number 19, chain up 1 and just 1 single crochet in each across. Verify that you still have only 11 stitches, and then we're going to move along to the next section of this headband and do that whole small section for a set number of times, and we're going to be moving on to that. So just go right to the end and verify you only have 11 stitches. It's so important that you do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and let's turn our work and begin the next section. Let's begin the 20th row. You're just going to chain up 1 and you'll put in a double crochet in the first. And then what we need to do in order to get ourselves in balance is that we are going to put in a front post right here down. Okay, so we're getting ourselves established for the texture work for this whole next section. Then we jump back up and we do our double crochet, and we're doing our texture all the way across as we already know it to be. And in keeping with the texture, you got 2 stitches left, so you're going to come into the second last one down here and then the one at the top. And if you verify that you have 11 stitches, you'll be laughing, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you shouldn't have to count those anymore for a while, and you're going to move on to row number 21. So turning your work, row number 21, you're going to just chain up 1 and place in 1 single crochet in each, going all the way across. Again, it will be 11 stitches. And then get that done, turn your work, and get ready for the next row for me, number 22. Number 22, chain up 1 and you'll double crochet in the first one. And you will notice in this one, the next one has already the texture, so the next one has to be a double crochet in, and then you can start the texture after that, the third one here. And you're just going to just jump between the 2 textures going across, and the last 2 have to be double crochets on their own. And that was that row. And let's begin row number 23 next. Turn your work and let's do row number 23. It's just chain up 1 and 1 single crochet across the top. So what I need you to do is that I need you to repeat rows number 20 through 23, and you're going to do that 5 more times from this point. And that's where I'm going to pick you up in just a few seconds for now, but I've got to do my work, and you're going to notice that the texture work will all look lined up and perfect, and you'll have a nice big stream of just this section going all the way up. So I'll see you there in just a few moments. So now I've just come all the way across. Now, if you feel like this is going to be too big for your face, we, meaning me, had you doing the repeats of doing the 4 rows over and over and over. So we did it repeat of 5 more times after we did it the first time. If you need to eliminate out some distance in order to make it smaller, if you just eliminate the last 4 rows back out, you will make it more narrow, and that's something that you can decide for yourself. We all have different head shapes, and I find it's very hard to design stuff like this. So I'm now going to pick you up on the 44th round, or the 44th row, and we're going to continue our way towards the end. And so this means that we have to start getting bigger like we did here on this side. So we're moving to the 44th row. We're now going to increase by 1 stitch. We currently have 11. So we're going to chain up 1, and in the very first stitch, we're going to put in 2 double crochets so that we can get ourselves to be bigger by 1 stitch. And looking at the pattern below, the very next stitch that's here has to come on down. So we're going to do a front post double crochet down here and continue the texture pattern as we know it all the way across. Okay, and then the very last one is a double crochet on its own. And that was that row. Let's turn our work and do the next row, number 45. 45, we're not going to increase any stitches. We're just going to chain up one and put one single crochet in each. I don't want to rush the growth of this. When you grow and subtract in crochet, they don't always equal each other as far as like the way to decrease and increase. So sometimes you just gotta modify and fake it or make it right. So we're making sure, and if you want to verify that you have 12 stitches, that'd be great. And let's just move along to number 46 next. Number 46, you're going to chain up one and apply 2 double crochets into the same one. Our goal for number 46 is to get ourselves to 13 stitches across. In the next stitch, just see how it's following along. The next stitch is 1 double crochet by itself, and then the next one you can drop on down to capture this one, and then continue the texture work all the way across. And the last 2 stitches are 1 double crochet in each. Just like that, in order to keep the texture, and we're going to turn our work and begin number 47. So just chain up 1 for number 47 and 1 single crochet in each. You should have a total count of 13 single crochets going across. Turn your work, and then we'll get ready for the next row, number 48. Let's begin number 48, chain up 1 and put 2 double crochets in the first one. And on row number 48, we're going to get ourselves to 14 stitches across. You're going to apply 1 double crochet in the next one by itself, and then you can start dropping down to be able to get to the next one, which is right here. Okay, and then continue the texture work as you know it across. Okay, the second last one before the end comes on down, and then you double crochet into the last one. Like that. Turn your work, and let's begin number 49. So number 49, just chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet in each. You should have a total count of 14 single crochets. Get to the end, turn, and get ready for the next row for me. Number 50 is next. In row number 50, you're going to chain up 1 and put 2 double crochets in the first one. And you're looking down to see the texture work in order to make your next decision. So you're going to put in a double crochet in the next, and then you can drop on down and start doing your texture work all the way across. Okay, come into the second last one, come on down, and then double crochet in the last. And that was row number 50. And verify you have 15 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Turn your work, and let's begin number 51. Number 51, you're going to chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet in each. Do that all the way across. You can verify if there's 15 stitches, and then get ready for the next row for me, row number 52. Okay, row number 52, we're going to get ourselves to 16 stitches. So just chain up 1 and apply 2 double crochets into the first, and look at the stitch work to determine what you're going to do next, but the pattern has it, of course. And you're going to just put in 1 double crochet into the next, and then you can drop on down and start your texture work all the way across. The last 2 stitches are going to be a double crochet by themselves in order to keep in line with the texture. And then we're going to turn our work and begin the 53rd row. Row number 53, just chain up 1 and apply 1 single in each. There should be 16 single crochets total. So do that, turn your work, and get ready for me for the next row. Okay, row number 54 is the last time we're going to do an increase to get us back to 17 stitches to how we started. Chain up 1 and apply 2 doubles into the first. And then you're going to put in a double crochet into the next. And then you can start your texture work right here. So coming all the way across, the second last one jumps on down to keep the texture going, and the last one is 1 double crochet on its own. And turn your work, and let's begin the 55th row, which is the end of the increase. We currently now have 17 stitches across, so you're just going to chain up 1 and apply 1 single in each. Verify that there's 17, and then we're going to go to the back section that will be behind your head. If the back section is too big for you, you can always eliminate rows in order to make it tighter if you wish. It's up to you, and everything is adjustable pretty much. And I'll see you at the end of this row, and we're going to start the back section of this headband. Now row number 56 to 59 is going to be a cycle of doing the texture work, and then I need you to repeat it a total of 1 more time after that. Again, if you need to make this more narrow, just in case that it's too big for you, you can always eliminate out rows if you prefer and just sew it together. If you do that though, the seam line may not be at the back of your head if you decide to do that. And again, you can always go back to this middle section, take out a section if you wish, and that will also then will eliminate out the distance as well. You decide. So we're going to start now, row number 56, just chain up 1, and we're going to start with our texture work immediately. So we're going to double crochet the first 2 stitches. And then we're going to jump on down right here, and we'll start our texture going across. The key element is to make sure that you have your 17 stitches by the time you get across, because it's been established. So you're going to come on straight on down, and then the last 2 stitches in this row are double crochets in each of the last 2. Turn your work, and we're going to do number 57. Number 57, just chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in each all the way, then turn your work, and then we'll get ready for number 58 in a moment. Let's begin number 58. You're going to chain up 1 and put 1 double crochet in the first, and then the next one has to jump on down to keep the texture moving along, and then the next one's back up, and etc. And you'll do this all the way to the end of the row, coming to the second last one down and then back up. So let's do our final of this sequence. And row number 59, you're going to chain up 1 and apply 1 single in each, and that will complete then the sequence. And I need you to repeat then rows number 56 all the way to 59 one more time in order to get to the sizing. And I've already talked about how to adjust the size just in case you need to. You can try to run your head and see how it goes, and if not, in my case, I need to add another repeat in there, but if you don't, you can just stop, and then you can just put your sew mark in there at that time, and I'll be right back. So I'm going to repeat now rows number 56 to 59 on my own, and then I'll be back, and then I'll show you how to sew this thing together. So I'm now at the end. I'm going to cut this strand now so that it's long enough that I can put that through a tapestry needle to be able to sew it on the side. Now, some people have suggested, why didn't I do this as a circle? Because people's heads are different sizes, so you can eliminate rows in order to get it to fit better, and I think that's a better option. With the wrong sides facing each other so that the good side is facing out, what I want you to do is that I want you to put that onto a tapestry needle. Okay, and I want you to favor the back loops that are closest to each of the projects. So in this case, it'll be this side, the back loop here, and then the back loop on this one. And I want you just to go across, and we're going to do a whip stitch. So once that one's done, you go to the next loop down, the next loop on this side, and you continue to work your way across. You'll have a really nice looking join at the back by doing it in this method. It's my preferred method, and then you also won't end up with a lump of fabric that you will feel at the back of your head, especially if you're got a hat on or whatever. So go all the way across and maybe back down. Just stretch it. If the one side's not stretched enough, it's the same stitch work, so it should balance. And I'll be right back. When you get all the way to the other side, I've got all the stitches. You notice how there's like a little space there? There's nothing stopping you from adding an extra piece in that doesn't make sense, just to kind of bring that together. You are the crafter at the end of the day, see? So that wasn't technically a stitch, I'm just pulling it together. Turn it to the inside of the hat, and I want to just tie this so it forms a knot immediately, so it won't undo from this point. Okay. Once that's in, I'm going to do it again, another little knot, and I'm staying on the inside of the project. So if you stick your needle through this project, you know, a big hand's going to come out of the screen and slap your hands, maybe your face. So I want to just glide the stitch, the yarn down. I do not want to see this needle on this side. Not that I'll be able to tell from my point of view for you, but if you see it, then you're going to impede with the look. Just glide it through the stitches that you can see on this side, but don't dare go all the way through, and you're going back. And finally, one more time. Third time is a charm. The project can never stretch in 3 directions, so it makes it nice and solid. And you want to take care of your beginning end, just like you did here. So you'll put the other one, your beginning strand, and do the same thing back and forth 3 times, and then you'll just turn it like this, and then you get a nice seam line at the back of this. Neat, eh? So I'll be right back. So here's the final look, and it's really neat. These are nice, easy projects to be able to do for a craft show if you ever have it. And so you can see that the top edge is flat here, and then the bottom will dip down so that it can capture your ears and around the back of your head. And it's a really fabulous day here on the Crochet Crowd. Please enjoy, and we hope that this works out for you. And that's it for today. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Somebody has a new headband. Don't be jealous.